Whew. God, I'm a wreck. Anyhow, I need a haircut. I graduated from high school in 1985. Where I lived, which is this county, there are two school districts. Okay, one and they're it's like it's in the same area, same town, but there's two school districts, two different modes of operation, you might say. One school district has always been pretty free regarding dress codes, haircuts, behaviors. You could grow your hair long. They had smoking sections. They had, back in the 80s, I graduated in 85. Rock and roll t-shirts were a big deal. You get all that. The school I went to allowed none of that. Okay? And it wasn't a Catholic school or anything like that. But we had haircut. You can't have your hair longer than your collar. Go past your collar. No rock t-shirts and this kind of thing. Was not an open campus. You couldn't roam freely off campus. You had to, if you were going somewhere for lunch, you had to have a little permit thing they gave you that you had to get through your parents. Real restrictive. Big time dress code stuff, haircuts, certain behaviors, this kind of stuff. And they'd pop you out of that. So they had a continuation school that if you weren't getting along in that school format, they'd bust you out to this little school for the troubled kids in a heartbeat. And the demands were actually greater on you if you played a sport. And in fact, if you were off campus and did something and you were playing a sport like football or whatever, and even though you weren't at school, it was on your own time, drinking, you got into some kind of trouble or whatever, they came down on you big time because you were representing the school because you're playing in the athletics. And so real very restrictive in that regard. And as kids, as a student there in the 80s, we hated it. Well, gosh, those guys get to do whatever they want. We've got all these restrictions for no reason. It's just, tyranny and all this crap. When you're young, you think like that. Today on the radio, I got the radio on in the morning when I feed the cows. This talk show, and they're talking about dress codes here. And how they're too, most people call it, it's too restrictive. My son's a Samoan, he wears that 8-foot long hair, or my kids, this is a fun time for them to be in school, and it's too. They should be able to express themselves and all this kind of thing. I finally had to turn it off. It's making me sick. Now, she was talking about that other. I don't know. Well, I should say I don't know which district she was talking about, but she felt a lot of these parents felt, well, it's just too restrictive. They should be able to wear their hair however they want to. Now remember, I said when I went to school, we hated this stuff. But you could look back. Our district just beat the other district into the dirt on every front. Academically, athletically, student participation. Some schools, you could have 100 different programs at your school, clubs and student politics and all this stuff. But if the kids don't have the attitude to join it, they won't. Okay, our school, our district, I think was number one as far as student participation in extracurricular stuff involving the school. They were into it. We were one of the best. I don't know about now. At that time, we were like the number one or number two school district in the state of California, performance-wise, grades and such, all this stuff. And like I said, we hated it, but looking back, we can see now that we were far better students. We even though we hated it, when we would go by this other district and see the schools, we knew we were better than them. We just knew. It's like, well, at least we're not there. What the heck? Look at them. It was obvious. And some said, oh, that's wrong. Well, maybe it was, but we felt we were better than them, and we were. I was a C student. Okay. At that district, I probably would have flunked out and been a D student. All right? If you were a B student there, you were definitely an A student where we were because they demanded more from their students. Now, your flakes, your kids that just don't give a darn, well, okay, they're not going to get much out of them. But the the majority, they're going to get that extra 25% out of all those kids that the other school isn't going to do. Why? Because of the dress codes, because of the haircut. You can't do this, you can't do that, all this kind of stuff. All the restrictions that we had, because they demanded more from us. I've gone to several class reunions, and someone would ask, hey, looking back, what do you think? Were we better for that or not? And everyone says, oh, we were better for that, for all those restrictions. No, limiting our self-expression. What a joke. Okay. And I can look back now and easily, if I had a choice of if I had a kid to put in school, I would put him in the more restrictive school because they have demands and standards. They're getting more out of the student body. Like I said, now if some kid's going to be a failure, he's going to be a failure. But if your kid's a C student over here, I can guarantee he's going to be a B student over here because they have the restrictions, the codes, the requirements. They demand more out of these kids. And most of the kids will deliver in that environment. Like I said, we knew we were better. And we were. If you look at all the performance records, we just clobbered this other district. But they weren't, we were considered rich rednecks. They said, you guys have all that money over there. It wasn't about money. Our school was very wealthy. The school itself, because they taxed the hell out of everybody. But they demanded more out of their kids. So when I hear these people make these complaints, I think my child should be able to wear his hair however they want. Our school said, cool, you take him to the other district. He's out of here. Now they're getting sued all the time. They got the ACLU comes in here on a haircut deal. Just ridiculous. So they can, it's a culturally, because this kid's culture, they wear their hair long, you're not letting it happen here, so you're being discriminatory. And back in the day, they'd put them on a bus. Out of here, kid, you're out of here. You ain't going to school here no more. We're going to take that crap. We're number one. Number one in the state. If you want to go be number two, do it somewhere else. That's how they were. They were hard ass. But looking back, from my experience, we were far better for it. Even though I was just a C student, I would not have been a C student somewhere else. They dragged more out of us. And as far as student participation, we had clubs. Our yearbook was like a big old phone book. Just from, not so much, we had a large campus, probably like 3,000 kids, 2,500 kids. But there was all the activities, all the club this, 4-H, FFA, they had a car clubs, just insane. But they filled them up. Kids were involved. Yeah, I know we put tons of college kids. Many kids went to college for my classes. Okay, I just didn't have to be one of them. But if you're at a school, your kid's out of school, and they're more demanding, you think it's tyrannical, which I think this is just a thing of the past. But, they're just demanding too much from these kids. Put your kid in that school. That's where you want him to be. Because they're going to get more out of him. This self-expression crap, these kids don't produce. And they never will. Love you. God bless.